Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Women in STEM series. And the Women in STEM series is a platform that showcases amazing feats being accomplished by women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics related fields. And we do this to also encourage other women to pursue careers in STEM related fields. And today, as those of us who have been following this particular section on Let's Learn TV, we've had a lot of amazing guests in the past. And today, once again, we have another super awesome guest with us today, Mrs. Mutsunrayo. Hello, Mrs. Mutsunrayo.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. And so
Thanks
we
for
have,
having me.
okay, so she's a professional with Salesforce and she's also passionate about helping get more women in tech related fields. And yes, so we'll get right into conversation for today. So please, I would want you to please give us a bit of introduction about yourself so we get to know you better, we get to know what you do.
Okay, great. My name is Muturayo Alake Olasuko. I am also a project manager, Salesforce project manager. It blends together in a very awesome way that you cannot imagine. And I also try as much as possible to teach people about Salesforce and what Salesforce can give you individually, business wise, and career wise as well. And that brings me to being the group leader for Women in Tech Salesforce in Bauchi. And I'm also involved in a lot of projects and a lot of work as
Wow, interesting. It's such an awesome pleasure and a delight to be meeting you and to be doing this with you. And I'm so pumped up, about the things I'll be learning and the things that every one of our audience would also be learning from our section today. Thank you once again for joining us. Okay, so we'll just get right into our conversation for today. And just as you already said in your introduction, you want us to know what Salesforce is about and how individuals and businesses can leverage Salesforce. So let's start from there. What is Salesforce? Because I'm sure some persons are wondering, okay, so what's Salesforce? So please, what's Salesforce?
well. Okay, Salesforce is like a service as a software company. Their major role in every business is it has to do with CRM of every organization. CRM in the sense that we try as much as possible to bring customers experience and manage a lot of customer information, maintain and communicate with customer base majorly. Every customer base in a company that wants to actually do very well, Salesforce try as much as possible to come in and try to manage their customers so as to get a very high return in their investment.
Interesting. I mean, this is a very interesting conversation because um, I think customer management is something that every organization should be very much interested in, and it's something that platforms that exist that can help, make the work of a customer manager or a customer management department more effective is something that every organization will be looking forward to. So thank you for enlightening us on what Salesforce is about. Okay, so now we'll go into um, the role Salesforce can play in different organizations and also for individuals. Because I remember you mentioned that, because I'm sure somebody is wondering that, okay, so I don't have a business, but can Salesforce still be, useful or valuable for me?
Okay, yeah, I'll start from the role that Salesforce can play in an organization, a business environment. Okay, at first, like I mentioned before, CRM is very, very key in every organization because everyone wants to do business and get profit. That's the but that account, how my customer can make profit as well. I do a to-do list for them. It's one of the features in Salesforce CRM. I do a to-do list for them. I try as much as possible to to arrange their calendar to the extent that they don't have to worry about how do I meet up with this meeting, how do I meet up with this project, how do I do this, how do I do that. I, as your account officer, can actually do that for you seamlessly without trying to stress yourself in a lot of things that you have to do to start to make profit. The next thing I'll talk about is time management. We all know that time management is very, very key, even if you're not a business person. Even as a student, as a tech lady, as a tech guy, everybody are still struggling with time management. And Salesforce tries what as possible to come up with this comprehensive built-in calendar that helps you to always keep to your time, no matter what you do, no matter what kind of meeting you are, is it yearly, weekly, daily, monthly. They have a very strict time management calendar that helps you not to waste your customers' time and helps you to know that this product is getting to this point. I have to do something about it. I have to review. I have to do a lot of things. The next thing I'll talk about is team collaboration. There's this feature on Salesforce CRM we call it chatter. This charter has to do with doesn't have to do with just inside the company alone. It has to do with customers, with Salesforce, with Trailblazer company, Trailblazer community, the customers, the clients, even prospective customers can be added to a charter group where you learn more about your desired product, learn more about your desired business idea and every other thing. They have a chunk load of resources on Chatter that you can access. Lastly, Salesforce CRM is very, very accessible no matter where you are because it is a cloud-based technology. You can access it from your phone, from your system, anywhere. You don't have to sit down in one particular cannot access my Salesforce CRM. I cannot access my customer information. I cannot access my dashboard, my reports, and a lot of things like that. But Salesforce has everything packed with you everywhere you go. Thank you.
Wow, this is really interesting. And I believe for so many persons who are listening and following through with this particular section would find many of these things very useful because just as you mentioned, these are things that sort of give a lot of business owners headache because having to fix all of these things or get a team that is effective in managing all of these different aspects you've talked about is something that is so critical for business to run effectively. And thank you for sharing insight on how Salesforce can help business owners and for every of our audience who is listening. So I would want to ask, now I believe you've done a bit of work as regards women in tech careers.
Hey, women in tech, especially in Nigeria, it's uh, it's been interesting, I would say, because 2 years ago we didn't have a lot of ladies that want to really go out there, want to really leave their rooms and their mirrors and all that. They believe that sex is always a guy thing and I shouldn't intrude where I'm not wanted. But over the years, we've tried as much as possible to make ladies understand that, hey, you can actually do this. And you can actually be very great, even more than the guys that you see out there. You can actually be very amazing at everything you do. Take, for example, I'm a woman in tech ambassador for GDG Bauchi, and it's been interesting all the way because sometimes you just sit down on your own and a lady will just chat and say, hey, this is what I want to do. What do you think? Let's do this. And it's very, very amazing. It's been very, very amazing. The journey is the one.
Interesting. So if I would ask, what motivated you to want to be sort of like an ambassador for women in tech and those kind of things?
Okay. I'll start by saying I studied computer science in school, but
Wow.
while I was in school, I didn't want to have anything to do with coding. I didn't want to. I felt like something that wastes my time, and I was really cut out for that. Then along the line, I got talking to some very amazing people that told me that you don't actually have to code. Even if you don't want to code, just have the basics so that when people are actually talking about something, you can know what to say. Then from there, I started doing a lot of research. I started uh, seeing that there are a lot of opportunities in tech that doesn't have to do with coding, but you still use technology. A lot of career paths, project manager. I chose Salesforce as first because I attended their meetup once, and funny enough, we were only two ladies in the room. So I kept wondering, what is it that is driving ladies away from this community? I want to know. Then I got talking with some people and they said, ladies think Salesforce is another coding atmosphere where if you don't know anything about it, you just go away. I continued attending. I started getting interested in how they use technology to solve a lot of problems. So from there, I decided that okay, I really want to know more. Then I started studying. I saw that there are a lot of certifications to go, and the step-by-step learning really drawed me close because Salesforce try as much as possible to hold your hands every step of the way. So you can actually understand, and they give you a hands-on. You can actually understand what you are doing and get instant results of what you do. So I think that's what drew me to Salesforce.
Wow. I think this is so good because, a lot of us come to these moments in our lives where we see a need, we see a challenge, we see a gap, and sometimes we don't do anything about it. We just sort of, it's just what it is. But the fact that you saw this gap and you decided to do something about it is just so, so good. Okay, so we'll be wrapping up soon. So I want to ask for everyone who is listening, please, if you have any questions for Mr. Material, please do well to start sending them in so we can take your questions. So I would want to ask, what are some of the key things you have learned in the course of your journey as are things that are very necessary for a woman to survive in a tech-related career?
Okay, first, the first thing I learned in a tech-related career, no matter the kind of atmosphere, is paying attention to details.
Paying attention to what?
To details, right? Because in Salesforce, for example, you can do a lot of platforms, you can open a lot of apps, do a lot of ish like that. And it gets to a point where you're supposed to produce or you're supposed to submit an app, then everything goes bad. Then you start sweating for days, for months, just to answer that question so you can move to the next stage. But then you settle down and see, go through everything you've done again. I'm very sure that you did not pay attention to details. Everyone has gone through this process of not paying attention to details. I learned the very hard way because I was not this person that I just wanted to do everything and go. But how to pay attention to details. Next thing is consistency. Salesforce makes you consistent in learning because you have every step when you learn, they try as much as possible to make you feel good about yourself that you've learned something by giving you a badge for every lesson. For every solution you solve, you get a badge, you get a brag on your social media handles through your Trailhead account. We call it Trailhead. That is where you get a lot of resources to learn about Salesforce technology. Either you want to be an administrator, career path for every of that.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I think these things you have mentioned are so important because the issue of paying attention to detail is something that would always be useful for any, in fact, any field is something that would always come in handy. And consistency is just key. So please, do we have any questions? Okay. So it seems like we don't have any questions yet. Okay. So if for anyone who wants to, reach out to you, to ask you more questions about Salesforce, I believe Ms. Muturayo's social media handles will be placed in the chat box. So you can always reach out to her to ask her questions to leverage Salesforce. Thank you so much, Ms. Muturayo, for joining us. It's a delight doing this with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. So we wrap up this section, and I want to thank everyone for joining us. And I want to thank